Oops. Okay. I'm live. I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. What day is it? Monday. Okay. No one's here yet. Oh, got people coming in. Just waiting for everyone to turn up. While we're waiting, I'd love to know where you're from. I'm in Vancouver. So where are you from? What part of the world? Where are you from? Australia. Hello, Katie. What part of Australia? My kids were born and raised there. Sydney and Brisbane. So where are you from? Oregon. Hello, Oregon. We're kind of neighbors, just one state away. I'm in Vancouver. Michigan. Hello, Michigan. We're not close at all. You're on the other side. Brisbane. Oh, okay. We're from, I think we've talked before. We're from Arana Hills is where my kids were raised. Idaho. Hello, Idaho. Okay. Chicagoland area. Chicagoland area. Hamilton, Ontario. I haven't been back east since I was a kid. If I travel, I don't tend to stay in Canada. I tend to get on a plane and go somewhere overseas or something. I don't travel much. I kind of decided I don't think I like traveling because I never seem to do it. If I like traveling, I'd be doing it, wouldn't I? It's just a lot of work. Naples, Florida. Dublin. Dublin. Is it Dublin? That's how it's pronounced. Okay, I got enough people. Let's get going. Also from Australia, Faithful Feline on YouTube. I'm on YouTube the whole time. Whenever I'm doing a live, I'm on YouTube the whole time. Boston, Massachusetts. Hello, welcome. Anyway, check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp courses, and you can look into coaching. And my podcast is released tomorrow. And actually, if you're on the live right now, you sort of get in early, it's already released. So if you go on my website, BratBusters.com, you can just check out the link above and you can see listen to all three podcasts. I don't know if they're on YouTube yet though, but you can listen. They're on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So they've been released a day early just to make sure. We just wanted to make sure there were any problems that we'd have time to sort that out. So I'm just going to look on the website now. Yeah, if you just go on BratBusters.com, you just look up podcast and they're all there, all three of them. Podcast one. Yeah, they're not on YouTube yet. They will be on YouTube eventually, but for now they're just on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So you're just getting the early inside information if you're interested. People have already found it just before we haven't even announced it yet. So I'm doing it with my daughter, so it's lots of fun. Wow, small world. That's in Arana Hills area. Love your work. Oh, excellent. Yeah, we lived at the bottom we lived on Leonardo Drive, bottom of Yingali there, and right near all the bike paths. Before that bike path area was all sorted out, it was like a swamp, and I had a big golden retriever, and I used to go down there and swim in the like there was a little lake down there. It was fantastic. And they paved it all. It's beautiful, but yeah, before it was paved, it was like a swamp. The dog loved it. Okay, so do you consider authoritarian parenting leaders? No, they're different. Authorities are like dictators. My way or the highway, you do what I say, and I'm not accountable. It's not a bad way to parent. Leadership to me is watch what I do and follow my lead. So in other words, leaders are also accountable. So yeah, I give respect to get it. So it's just a little bit different. And kids don't tend to rebel against a leader, but they will rebel in the teen years against an authority. But it's not a bad way to parent. The new fashion pleaser parent styles, a total disaster. Yeah, they never respect you. Yeah, it's a total disaster. You're raising self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. I'm exaggerating, of course. It's what I do. Sydney, Australia. Yeah, my son was born in Sydney. My daughter was born in Brisbane. I remember when I first moved to Australia. I married in Australia and moved down there, and we lived in this townhouse complex. And when I first arrived, he went to work, and I went and laid by the pool at noon on a summer day. Couldn't figure out why I was the only one. It was like fry, just flip me over and fry me on the other side. So yeah, I didn't last there. The sun was so hot, it was stinging my skin. I just had never experienced that kind of heat before. So yeah, I didn't lay out in the sun again. Okay, when I give my 3-year-old options for food or doing anything, he says no to options. How do you fix that? Why are you giving him so many options? You don't need to you can give kids choices when it comes to play. They're in charge of fun. Okay, so you say, what do you want to play? If they can't make a decision, then you decide. So, but yeah, give them options with play. But when it comes to necessities like food and stuff like that, yeah, you're in charge of that. I wouldn't give them options for stuff like that. There's no need. You can give them options, but not with everything. Okay, maybe you're overdoing it and he's just running. He's loving leading you. He's loving arguing with you. You're giving him an option to argue. I would just say, okay, here's what we're having tonight. And that's it. Okay. Yeah, the podcast is on the website now. It hasn't been announced yet, but you're just getting the early scoop because we wanted to make sure we got it out so it's ready for tomorrow morning. So Oromakto, New Brunswick. I know I probably said that wrong. Welcome. Almost 16-year-old doesn't realize he's being rejected by peers. He doesn't have self-awareness that his obnoxious behavior is off-putting. Can I help him or will he figure it out? Every invitation he extends to peers are turned down. What does he say? Have you asked him? You say, why, are they coming or why not? What have they said? I would ask him, when you mean by obnoxious behavior, I don't quite know what you mean. That could be a whole bunch of things. Is he rude to them or just kind of ridiculous, like just saying dumb things? Plus, does it bother him? He might not even be bothered by it. So, has he got a girlfriend? Yeah, I have a lot of questions there. Yeah, you don't want to hurt his feelings too. You don't want to say, by the way, you have no friends because of this. So you got to be careful with that. I'd sidestep that. I would try and help him out, to be honest. Yeah. He might not figure it out. He might, but he might not. Just say, look, why aren't they turning up? Can we maybe figure this out? See what he says. Ola from South Carolina. Did I say that right? Northern Ireland. I've got Irish clients right now. Got a couple, I think. I have a hard time distinguishing Irish and Scottish, but I think when I met them, I never look where people are from, and they just turn up and they sounded Irish. And I said, "Oh, you're Irish." And they said, "Yeah." So I did obviously know, but I don't always know the difference. Okay, is it normal for a 2.5-year-old to regress after a new sibling arrives? Mine has regressed in potty training, more whining and clinging, etc. Any tips? Yeah, it's usually just a stage they go through. Don't give it a lot of attention. Just say, oh, well, we'll get you all cleaned up. And, yeah, it's just a transition time. You can't always help them through that. It takes time. Some things are just not fixable. It just takes time. So, okay. Your confidence gives me confidence in my own parenting abilities. Excellent. Yeah, parenting is the hardest job in the world with the least amount of training. And yet everyone expects you to be an expert. It is, it's personal too. Like I have clients who say, why is it I can run a huge corporation, everyone respects me, I got this little 2-year-old who just runs all over me. So yeah, it's personal. Parenting is personal. That's what makes it different. And you live with them 24/7, right? It's a lot of work. My 4-year-old all of a sudden is afraid to go to the bathroom alone. He says he's afraid in his room at night. How should I handle this? Get those galaxy lights, sound machines, or anything like that, and do a monster check. I used to do that. Both my kids went through that monster phase, one more than the other. I can't remember which one. So I said, look, whenever a mother checks, like monsters are afraid of moms, and they believed it. And I said, I'm going to check behind the curtains, in every single drawer, under the bed, and in the closet. And if there was a monster there, they will disappear and they never come back once they know I'm looking for them. So I did sort of validate their fear in a way and fix it. So, and then I said, okay, now they hate sound machines. They hate galaxy lights. Like, set it all up like you really know what you're doing and give it a go. New Mexico, hello. Orlando, 3-year-old gets so frustrated and hangry with me or in situations at times. Understandable, but he uses mean words. Okay, and threats. Oh, he's next level when they start threatening you. Yeah, I would just put no. Well, you haven't ruined him. He's only 3, for God's sake. I get hired by parents of teenagers, and that it's never too late. Okay, he's tiny, so it's not too late. Just put down. What did you say? One thing I would have put on there. Oh, mean words. No bad words. I would put on the board. And that means no mean words, no bad words. So put it on the behavior board. And the behavior board is completely free and above. And the podcast is, tomorrow is the release date, but it's already released. So you're the first people to know about that. We've got 3 podcasts now. They're all on my website if you're interested. So you might want to check that out. Because I just want to see which one. Sorry, I just want to see, there might be one for, the first one is What is Leadership Parenting? That's the first podcast. The second one is Navigating Consequences as a Parent. So how to navigate consequences. And what's the third one? Let me just see. Oh, Approaching Toddler Tantrums. So how you handle toddler tantrums. That's the third one. So the first one is What is Leadership Parenting? The second one is How you Navigate Consequences. And the last one is Toddler Tantrums. And those are the first 3 episodes. They're already released. You're the only people that know about, although other people have found it already for some reason. It's only on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So anyway, that's brand new. It's just, release date is tomorrow, but they've already been released just to make sure they're ready by tomorrow morning. So excited for your growth podcast. My daughter worked on that podcast. I would say 2 solid weeks. She works hard, and she's it's all because of her. I wouldn't know anything about podcasts. I tried to do one years ago. It just didn't take off. I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's got it all sorted out. So. Will your podcast be available on Apple Podcasts? Yeah, all 3 of them are on Apple Podcasts right now and Spotify. And yeah, they've been released early just to make sure they're ready for tomorrow. So the podcast is called BratBusters Parenting. If you go on my website, BratBusters.com, it's in the link above and it's on there. You just go, if you go on my website, you'll see it. It says podcasts, and all 3 of the first 3 are already out there. They're going to end up on YouTube eventually, but not right now. Because we just wanted to get them out early as podcasts just to make sure. So it's BratBusters Parenting Podcast. Yeah. So all first 3 episodes are released. And you're the first ones to know about it, but quite a few people have already downloaded them. So I guess they just found it organically. I don't know. But yeah, they are on What is Leadership Parenting? How to Navigate Consequences, and Toddler Tantrums. I think Toddler Tantrums is going to be the most popular one. Just a guess, because every time we put a video out in Toddler Tantrums, it often goes viral. But we don't want to just do that. Like, it'd be too easy just to do that all the time. But yeah, we talk about other stuff too. I specialize in teenagers, but most of the people who turn up to these lives have toddlers. But my coaching clients, most of them are not toddler parents. They've got older kids. How do I handle 4-year-old that always says mine? Well, just say already then and take it anyway if it's not theirs. Like, you take action. So you say, no, okay, whatever. You've already said, Mappies have that, and they say no, mine, then just take it. So, but they're 4. I don't know how much of a fight they're going to put up. You don't want to get into physical fight over that. So just put down when asked to hand something over, put it on the behavior board as the rule. Hand toy over when asked to do so by parent, something like that. So you can literally just put that on a behavior board, and there's a consequence if they don't do it. We all learn through consequences. Okay. So yeah, it's all about, you do something wrong, you break a rule, then there's a consequence. That's how we all learn. Our whole lives are run by consequences. If we don't pay our taxes, we go to jail. If we don't make a mortgage payment, they foreclose on our house. You see what I'm saying? Life is about consequences. So the sooner you teach this to your children, the better. What should I do with a 13-year-old girl who won't stay off her phone? Just take it from her for a period of time. So you can have your phone between this time and that time, but otherwise, let's say at 8 o'clock, you cut it off. 13 years old, though, they're probably talking to all their friends at 8 o'clock. So you negotiate that with her and say, you can't have your phone all the time. So after school, you can only have it for, let's say, 2 hours, and say you can decide when that 2 hours is. See how that goes. Negotiate it back and forth. See how it goes. And also make sure you're not on your phone all night too. A lot of parents say, well, I don't want you on your phone that much. Oh, wait a minute. I've just got the really cute meme I'm looking at. Leaders lead. They're watching you. They're watching you more than they're listening to you. So make sure you're not on your phone all the time. My mother told the story many times about she had this neighbor, and the neighbor came over and complained about her little kids swearing. And she said, I don't know where the F they get all this effing language. She didn't even get what she was doing. Yeah, gee, Mom, I wonder where they got it all from. Struck me as funny. Yeah, she couldn't figure that was a mystery, that one was. I think I had food poisoning today. I'm not sure. I was not doing too well earlier. I almost had to bow out of an appointment, which is, I don't think I've ever done that before. But yeah, I'm better now. So not a good day. Okay. Two-year-old boy going through go away and no, best approach is to ignore it. If they're saying shut up or anything like that, they're about consistent corrective actions when they're under the age of 3. You can't have a consequence. It's a consistent corrective action. If they say shut up or whatever, you say no, and then I would take something away from them, something that they like. You say no, and then I'd take a favorite toy, even if they're not playing with it, and I'd say no, and I'd put it away. You're letting them know that that's not on. It's a slow burn. They don't learn right away. They learn the 50th time. They're not going to learn the 5th time. It takes about 50 times. Okay. The podcast is out now, by the way. We released it early just to make sure it was ready for tomorrow morning, which was the release date. If you go on the website, BratBusters.com, the link above, you'll see all 3 episodes. One's on what is leadership parenting, how to manage consequences, and toddler tantrums. Nashville, Tennessee, welcome. I have a lot of Southern clients, and I pick up a Southern accent really fast. Just love a Southern accent. If I take the phone off her, she hits me. You're red zone with that 13-year-old girl because you asked, what do I do? She's on her phone all the time. The only thing I can help you with, if you want to hire me, we'd have to work through that. Yeah, if she's hitting you at 13 years old, yeah, you want to. I would have to figure that one out. I don't know your relationship with her. I don't know your history with her. I don't know what she's doing on the phone. Is she sexually active? Is she talking to guys online? I need to assess the situation. Then we move forward very slowly. Yeah, it's not easy, but I specialize in teenagers, but it's not easy. There's no quick fix. Toddlers and teenagers, there's no quick fix. Everything in between is a lot easier. Hastings, Nebraska, welcome. Hampshire, UK, welcome. Philippines, hello. Okay, I'm on week 2 of the boot camp. My 9-year-old keeps screaming at me, yelling, I hate you and you're the worst. Do I ignore this for now? Is this attitude? Oh, of course that's attitude. They're just mad. They're just fighting back. They're trying to get under your skin. So I would go, if they're going at you, say, I hate you. I would go like this, whatever, and then just walk away. Don't do it in anger, though. Do it like you're so bored, like whatever, and just walk away. They're just trying to manipulate you. Yeah. Oh, how do I get my 3-year-old son who's nonverbal, autistic to potty train? That would be coaching. Sorry, but that's more of the challenge, like the specialty. When you got a child with a disability or some kind of a challenge, that would be coaching. I can't give you a simple answer here. Ennis, Texas. Hello, Ennis, Texas. St. Louis. Missouri. I know I have asked this before, but is it normal that 3-year-olds go through a stage of not drinking milk? He used to drink milk 3 times a day. I don't want to talk about that because it's nutrition based. And I'll just say they go through stages all the time. And some kids hate milk, never drink it. So yeah, I don't know. But I can't make a sound comment on that because I'm not a nutritionist and I don't know the situation, But yeah, some kids never drink milk. Chicago, Illinois. And, formula and breast milk is different. But yeah, some kids just never drink milk. Do you recommend, okay, this is from Faithful Feline again on YouTube. Do you recommend putting pictures on the behavior board to symbolize each behavior and consequence to help a 3-year-old to understand? Yeah. Or is the board only meant for the parent? No, it's for the kids. So if they don't understand, just do pictures or drawings, simple drawings. Like if you yell, you can get a picture like this and then a big X through it, no yelling. But yeah, and also they'll learn as they go. They don't have to understand it all up front. They do know right from wrong right away. So if you put no hitting on the board, they already understand they're not supposed to hit. So you don't need to keep explaining. Parents always over-explain everything. They get pulled into that. But I don't know. I forgot. Oh, well, it's going to happen anyway. Like they'll learn. Yeah, he's too young to use this with. But when they get older, I say, well, you'll know next time, won't you? I forgot. Well, you'll know next time, won't you? Like they're learning. He's too little for that sarcasm, but. Remember, once you've disciplined or once they've had an absolute fit and they're screaming and kicking and all that stuff, after they're done, then you connect. Remember the pool story? That's how you deal with bad behavior, then you focus on the good kid. So yeah, once they finished having their fit scene, whatever, you go, do you want to play a game? No, I hate you. Okay, never mind. Then when they're calmed down again, you ready for that game now? You see, you just keep trying to connect. You don't have to connect with them 24/7, but after a big scene, it's kind of a good idea. Parenting is so overwhelming. Thank you for all your feedback. I hope I make it a little bit more easy to understand or more underwhelming. More whelming? Is there a word whelming? There should be, shouldn't there? Anyway, overwhelming, underwhelming. Anyway, I hope I make it simpler because really it is quite simple. When you think about it, it's just hard to do. But it's quite simple. You give respect to get it. There's a rule and there's a consequence and just follow through. So, but doing it is the hard part. I know. It's hard. Once you get used to it, the more success you start getting with this stuff, that's why we start small. You win the small battles, then you're ready for the big ones. So yeah, we start small. I've tried the board and a few other methods. Is there a last ditch to have a 3-year-old twins stop whining for everything? They're 3 years old. I would mimic them and say, when you talk like this, I would say, I won't even answer you from now on. And whenever you whine, I'm going to go like this, or have some symbol to show them that they're whining, and then ignore. And then say, but when you talk to me nicely, like may I please have, I will answer you, but the answer may still be no. You got to repeat this. It's going to take a long time. So, but have a symbol to show and they often don't even know they're whining because they're so used to doing it. Every time they whine, you go like this, or whatever your symbol might be, right? Whatever it is. Just make up something and explain that to them. Say, whenever I do this or whatever, that means you're whining and I'm not going to answer you. It's a slow burn. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay, I got to move on to Instagram now. And the podcast, the first 3 episodes are already released. My daughter released them early, so they're ready for tomorrow morning. So you're the first people to know that they've been released, but lots of other people have already found them. So I guess they were just looking on my website for whatever reason. But the first podcast is called, and they're all on Apple Podcast and Spotify. The first one is Earning Respect. What is leadership parenting? The second one is Navigating Consequences as a Parent. The third one is Approaching Toddler Tantrums. And it's called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. So they're all 3 of those are all released now. They will eventually be on YouTube, but for now they're on Spotify and Apple Podcast. So have a listen if you're interested. So my daughter worked very hard getting those all published. She's very good at this stuff. So she's the brains behind the business. I'm just the dummy up front here. So yeah, she's the brains behind all this stuff. Anyway, I got to get going over to Instagram. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. Check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp courses, 3 to 12 or the toddler one. Or you can look into coaching. The wait list is pretty good right now. It's picked up, actually yesterday, a lot of people on the wait list, but it's usually within a week lately I've been getting back to people. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'm over to Instagram. Cameron, never seen Cameron spelled that way. Cameron, how do I get my 2.5-year-old to stop hitting and biting? I have a course on that. Toddlers who hit, bite, etc. It's just the most creative name for a course. But it's consistent corrective actions constantly. They're not going to learn the 5th time. They're going to learn the 50th time if you're lucky. They learn through repetition. They're not about words. They're about actions. So anyway, yeah, I don't let anyone in on my lives. I only did it once, and it did not go well. I didn't know how to get rid of them. They wanted my audience. So yeah, they were trying to sell stuff. So yeah, I don't let anyone. I'm just scared to do it again. Okay. Okay, so let's get going now. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. If you look at the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp courses, one for toddlers, one for 3 to 12-year-olds. And then you can also look into coaching. There is a wait list, but it's pretty good. I usually get back to people within a week lately. Anyway, and our podcast is releasing tomorrow, but it's actually out now just to make sure it was ready for tomorrow. So if you go on my website, it's BratBusters.com. It's the link above is my website. And there's 3 podcasts that have been released. And they're on Apple Podcast and Spotify. The first one is Earning Respect. What is leadership parenting? That's the pool story, by the way, and other stuff. It's my daughter and I doing a podcast together. Number 2 is Navigating Consequences as a Parent. And the 3rd podcast is Approaching Toddler Tantrums. I have a feeling that's going to be the most popular one. So yeah, it's not officially released, but it is released. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me now. And I'm going to do my best to answer your questions, your parenting questions. I don't answer everything because I like to mix up the ages. So wait a sec here. Okay, I'm going to read out before we get going my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. And then I'll read my top 4 tips for parenting teenagers. And then you're going to ask, what about everything in between? I'll address that too. So number 1 with toddlers, child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3, when you want to connect with a toddler, you do so in their world. You don't go to the nail salon with them. You go to the park and roll down the hill. They just look at you differently when you enter their world. Number 4 is when you want to discipline a toddler. It's similar. You do so in their world. They're not about words. They're about actions. Don't use these mini therapy sessions discussing all their big feelings and big emotions. That is absolute garbage. That was just invented to make the mom feel good about herself. It's not for the toddler at all. They're not listening. They may be parroting you. Yes, mommy, but they're not. Trust me, they're not listening. And number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. They're not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They've got 1 marble and some tumbleweed floating around in here. They're cute as a button, but they're all feet, no brains. So that's toddlers. Now, my top 4 tips for parenting teenagers, which is my favorite age. Number 1, listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with, or they will shut you out. If they want your advice, they'll ask for it. They already know it anyway. Number 2 is negotiate as much as possible. Go something like this. Hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper from now on. What do you want from me? Reciprocity. Give respect to get it, right? Number 3 with teenagers, don't sweat the small stuff. If they do something stupid and it's not a big deal, just say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off. Or do you want to hear what I did yesterday? It's okay to make mistakes. Number 4 is don't leverage the good times to discuss the bad times. All of a sudden, they'll teach clients how to connect with their teenager. Then they'll take that opportunity to discuss how they've disappointed them the last 2 years. I always tell them not to, but every so often, one will slip through and do that. And then they can't figure out why their teenager told them to F off and left the room. So I don't know why we were getting along so well. I just discussed all the ways they've disappointed me the last 2 years. Yeah, don't leverage the good times to discuss the bad times. So that's teenagers. Oh, gosh. Oh, it's hitting me again. I had food poisoning today. Not horrible, but not good. Yeah, I'm getting it in waves. Okay, these are the 4 stages of parenting. This is about you. The first one is baby, 0 to 15 months. This is about meeting their needs and meeting their wants. You can use gentle redirection when they're doing something naughty. No, and then you can redirect them to do something else. So you're using the word no, but you never say no and you make them cry. You say no so they kind of look at you like, oh, they're learning right from wrong. Toddlers kind of know right from wrong. That's 16 to 35 months. Now you're starting to correct them. You're using consistent corrective actions. They learn through repetition. They're not going to learn the first time. Remember to have patience with them. They're just kind of crazy anyway. They might even go like this and smear poop on the wall. They're just toddlers, right? Then the third stage of parenting, 3 to 12 years old. This is when you're at the height of your leadership and they want to please you. So this is kind of the easiest years with kids, generally 3 to 12 years old. I know 9 to 12 is tweens, but you still treat them, you still parents sort of similar with a 3-year-old than you do with a 12-year-old. They're very different, but your style is very similar. And then you go into the teen years, 13 plus. This is when I just read out how you manage teenagers. You've got to start letting go of the small stuff. Save your energy for the big stuff because you might need it or you might not. But yeah, you don't want to micromanage a teenager. You want to start passing that leadership torch over to them. Give them more choices. You just be there for the big stuff. Let them decide the small stuff. So that's the 4 stages of parenting. Teenagers, it's my favorite age. There's nothing wrong with teenagers. They're not difficult. It's just parents don't adjust their style to respect teenagers. They don't know how to talk to them. They just don't get it. That's the problem. You still want to control everything they're doing. Well, they're exercising their own leadership. They're exercising their independence. If you're not there supporting them through that, they're going to do it all behind your back. Is that what you want? No. You want to be a leader. You want them to come and tell you everything. Okay. I have a 6-year-old. This is from Deborah. I have a 6-year-old who talks back every time we give him an instruction or direction. How do you handle back talking? That's in the attitude department. It's just a tell. It means he doesn't respect you. So you've got to work on your leadership skills. The way you do that is you use my free behavior board and you put down rules and consequences for everybody. You're on that behavior board too. It's just an accountability chart for the whole family. If you want the next level, check out the boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old. That's 5 weeks how to get respect. The behavior board is just training wheels. We go past that. Like I would never use a behavior board. It's a teaching tool. It's a great teaching tool, but that's all it is. You don't want to use it forever. So it's just a temporary thing, learning how to get respect because you're on there too. So yeah, you never address attitude. There's no point. It just means they don't respect you. You can't say, you better respect me. You can't fix attitude. You fix yourself. We're never fixing kids. We're fixing ourselves. I teach parenting, not kidding. What's your podcast called on Spotify? It's BratBusters Parenting Podcast. And all 3 of them are out now. It's just an early release to make sure it was ready for tomorrow morning. So my daughter put them all out about an hour ago. And we've already got quite a few downloads. So yeah, it's the first one is Earning Respect. What is leadership parenting? The second podcast is Navigating Consequences as a Parent. And the third podcast is Approaching Toddler Tantrums. And I have a feeling that'll be the most popular one. But anyway, and you can just choose whichever one you want. You can listen to all 3 or they're only about, how long are they? About 30 minutes each. The toddler tantrum one is 19 minutes. So they're not really long. Yeah, they're 19 minutes. Oh, and the first one is 27 minutes. So that what is leadership parenting? That's 27 minutes. We didn't want to make them too long. We'll see how we go. We're new at this. My daughter and I are doing it together. We're just learning as we go. Is there a way to save this? Yes, YouTube. All of these lives are saved on YouTube. So, and they're also being filmed on YouTube at the same time. So just look up today's date and you'll see the thing. We don't have a lot of time to put a lot of effort into YouTube. That's our smallest platform. But one day, I guess the podcast will sort of be taking over from the lives. And they'll be time stamped. So you can see where your question, if you've submitted a question for a podcast, eventually it'll be time stamped. You can find your questions. So my daughter's very good at organizing all that, but these lives aren't organized that way because it's not something that I think we'll end up doing a lot of. I think it'll be more podcasts being put on YouTube. I'm not sure how she does all the planning. I don't know. I like how I'm pretending I know what's happening. She just tells me what to do. I just do it. Okay, so I'm scrolling ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer your question. 7-year-old avoiding doing work and chores. Just put down follow chore chart on the behavior board. And if he doesn't, there's a consequence. So we all learn through consequences. Don't expect them to do something just for the joy of it. If they don't like scrubbing a toilet, there's no joy in it anyway. There is for me. I happen to love cleaning bathrooms, but anyway, I'm weird. I love cleaning. But anyway, so just put down follow chore chart. And if he doesn't, there's a consequence. So yeah, that's how we all learn through consequences. All of us adults do too. That's why we pay for groceries. We don't just walk out and not pay, because there's a consequence if we try and steal food. You see what I mean? Life is about consequences. We follow rules in the world, and the sooner you teach this to your children, the more pleasant they will be to be around for everybody else and for society's sake. Please teach them this now. Being accountable instead of the self-entitled snowflakes. I know everyone calls it, I don't know all the G-Gen or all that stuff, but they talk a lot about entitlement, and it comes from the pleaser parent style. Trying to make everything fun, everything enjoyable, trying to cater to your children, giving them participation awards for doing squat, all that kind of stuff, rewarding them for good behavior. How ridiculous is that? Rewarding someone just for being good? Like, that's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense at all to me. That's my baseline. This comes up, a lot of stuff comes up in coaching that just doesn't come up on here, because I totally, like, coaching is very different. But I talk a lot about, if you're shaming your children, you're doing it wrong. When you're disciplining children, it's okay that they feel embarrassed, but shame is different. Like, if they respect you, they'll be embarrassed for acting out. Okay. But you don't want to ever shame your children. You don't want them to feel like bad people just because they make mistakes. So be careful with that. The shaming, the way that parents shame most commonly is they discuss the bad behavior. What's the point? You're just bullying them. You're just rubbing it in, and you're focusing on it. They already know they did something wrong, have a consequence, and then it's over. Let it go. Stop discussing bad behavior. It's done a lot. I never understood that. Why are you discussing bad behavior with your kids? That was bad. Here's the consequence now. Do you want to go read a book? Let it go. It's shaming them. It's not helping. It's making them feel bad. And we don't want to do that. This was cute. This was on a live. So it's public because it was on a live, but it was cute. This mom said, it was on a live here, and she goes, my 8-year-old bullies everybody. She's a girl, and she bullies everybody. She's nasty to everybody. Then she comes home crying because no one will be her friend. So she goes, what do I tell her without hurting her feelings? And I said, just tell her, if you want to be liked, you have to be likable. Okay? And teach her how to be likable. Do role playing. You play her, and then she can play someone else. And you teach her how to ask other people questions about themselves, how to be nice to people. So she just hasn't learned how to be nice. But she's upset that no one likes her. She can't. She's 8. She couldn't put the pieces together. So yeah, I would say you got to be likable to be liked. Like, that's that entitlement. You know, I don't have to do anything. I should just get whatever I want. That's that entitled kind of attitude. That's the pleaser parent grows that. Yeah. Well, just because I bully everybody doesn't mean they shouldn't like me. That's entitlement, right? It's that narcissistic entitlement. So yeah, just say you got to be likable to be liked. You got to earn it. 6-year-old daughter has meltdowns at bedtime, says she's scared to be by herself, so I've been laying with her. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I do the monster check. Say, you know, I'm going to check underneath the bed there, and monsters are terrified of mothers. I told my kids that, and they believed it. And I said, once I've looked, they never come back. So I looked behind curtains. I looked in every single drawer. I looked under the bed. I looked everywhere. And so I said, no monsters here. And then use like a nightlight or those galaxy lights or something, and say, you'll be all right. Leave the door open. And then just go to bed. Anyway, I have a whole bedtime battles course, if that might be what you need. Maybe she's just pretending to be scared so she doesn't have to go to bed. I don't know. Oh, the 3-year-old he doesn't want to go to preschool. Yeah, the separation anxiety. He'll get over it. It's usually 3 weeks, maybe a bit longer. But you make the goodbye, like do the dump and run. Just say, okay, we'll see you later. And then someone said, well, don't you say you love them and that? You know, they don't need to hear that right when you're dropping them off. So it's sort of this coddling. The more you coddle them when you're leaving, the worse it's going to be. You can say you love them in the car, but as soon as you're parked, get them out and say, okay, here you go. Have fun. I'll see you later. You always end it like that. And then go. Dump and run. Make it short but sweet. And then when you pick them up, don't make a big deal about the hellos either. Because then they'll go, why are you making such a big deal? Was that traumatic to say, oh, hi, we're going off shopping now. Let's get going. So yeah, they'll get out of it. It's just a stage. You can't stop all transition pain. they're going to go through some of this stuff. Okay. It's just part of it. I'm going to go over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. The podcast is officially released tomorrow, but it's out now. We released it, or my daughter released it early just to make sure it's ready for tomorrow morning. And anyway, it's called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And 3 episodes are released. The first one is Earning Respect, What is Leadership Parenting? The second one is Navigating Consequences as a Parent. And the third one is Approaching Toddler Tantrums, which I'm pretty sure that's going to be the most popular one. Anyway, they're all released now, just to make sure that they're ready for tomorrow morning. So anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my new podcasts. And you can look into coaching or my boot camp courses, toddlers and older kids. So I'm going to go over to TikTok now. Happy parenting. Oh, sugar. Where am I? I forgot where I was. TikTok. Okay. Again. I think I was I've done this before. I went right back on, once I went off Instagram, then I went right back on Instagram again. Completely forgot about TikTok. But luckily someone told me. Well, they went over to TikTok. I didn't turn up, so they went back to Instagram and found me there. Lisa, you're in the wrong place. Typical of me. Okay. Oh, pardon me. I wasn't feeling great today, so I'm just not having a great night. Okay, welcome to, I've only got a couple people. Let's just wait. Just wait a minute. TikTok's actually my biggest platform. I started on TikTok 2.5 years ago, and I started on Instagram and Facebook a year ago. So yeah, TikTok's my biggest platform. But it's the live, Instagram and TikTok lives are just as busy. About the same. I'm just making conversation, waiting for people to turn up. Oh gosh, I just wasn't feeling great today. Okay, let's get going. My name's Lisa. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. You can go to the link above and you can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp courses, toddler one, and my 3 to 12-year-old boot camp course. And you can look into coaching, and my podcasts are out now. The first 3 episodes, haven't officially been announced yet, but we got them out early so that they'd be ready for tomorrow morning because tomorrow is launch day. Anyway, all 3 episodes, the first 3 are out now. If you go on my website, the link above, you'll see them. The first one is Earning Respect, What is Leadership Parenting? The second one is Navigating Consequences as a Parent. And the third one is Approaching Toddler Tantrums, and it's called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. And it's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So there you go. And my daughter does it with me, so it's lovely. There's a nice picture of the 2 of us there. I don't know how long I'm going to last. I'm just not feeling well today. I've been kind of sick today, so I can feel me. I'm getting really wilty. Okay. Pardon me. I just found you this week. Oh, welcome, Tarina. I'm definitely going to take the boot camp. I'm raising my granddaughter, and I've never been a leader yet. Oh boy, am I excited for this. Excellent, Tarina. Which one? The boot camp. The one for toddlers is leadership based, but it's not a program. Like it's not like week 1, week 2, week 3, because toddlers, you more just react to what they're coming up with. They're all different. They all come out with different stuff. So it's more of a reference manual for toddlers. But the 3 to 12-year-old boot camp is very much, it's paced out over 5 weeks. It's teaching you, oh, she's 11. Okay, perfect. That course can actually go up to 14, but 12 is like some really mature 14-year-olds I wouldn't use it with. But yeah, all 12-year-olds. So, okay. Thanks so much, Tarina. I'm glad you're here. You might want to check out the podcast now too. I don't know much about podcasts. I don't listen to them that often. That's not true. I do. But I never know who I'm listening to. I don't know why. I can't figure out who I'm listening to ever. And then I'll go on there and there's like 2 different shows on and I can't figure out which one's playing and which one they're just showing me. I think I got to take a course on how to listen to podcasts. So But I do like podcasts. I just don't know how to navigate them. And my daughter did our podcast. I couldn't possibly do that. Okay, the podcast is called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. And the first 3 episodes are released early because we wanted them to be ready for tomorrow morning. And they're on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And we figured out the very first one, my daughter's very fussy. She said it's a little bit of an echo if you listen on your headphones. It's just because we have microphones and these like bigger microphones. We weren't close enough. So now we know your lips have to be up against it. So the second and third podcasts are a little bit better. But yeah, they're good. I think they're good. I didn't even notice it. So she's very fussy. How would you introduce the behavior chart to an 8-year-old? Just say, look, we want to be better parents for you. So we found this woman, she teaches parenting, and she said, we have to have rules too. So here we go. The whole family has a rule and a consequence. That's how you introduce it. We want to be better parents. We found this old lady. She's been teaching this forever. Blame me for it. When do you think babies start to bond with their dad? I don't know. That's a hard question to ask. We don't know about that. And even babies bonding with their mom, it's more out of necessity. Is it really a bond or is it like a need? I don't know. It's psychological, like, I don't know. But yeah, I think they can bond pretty quick. I think it depends on the dad. A lot of dads have problems bonding right away because they're not the ones feeding them. They're not as connected physically, right? Whereas moms are connected physically and, every other way. So yeah, it's just a little bit different. But yeah, dads can take quite a while to bond with their babies. Quite a while. It might be when they're up on their feet. It's common. A lot of dads don't want to admit that. They feel guilty that they haven't bonded with their kid. They do the right thing by them, but they're not bonded with them. But they might even be 2 when they can start roughhousing with them and that. So yeah, it's quite common for dads to have a hard time bonding. Very common. I'm excited to do dishes now, headed to listen. Oh, that's so cute. I hope you enjoy it. We'd love your feedback because we're new at doing this podcast and we've never done anything together, the 2 of us, because she's my business partner. So, but yeah, she said, Mom, I'm going to have to come on. And she hates being in front of the camera. I love it. And she's the behind the scenes. But yeah, she's asking all the questions that you have submitted. So my husband says, thank you for all you do. Oh, that's so sweet, Nicole. Thank you. I'm challenged trying to figure out the link to the behavior board. It will arrive in about 30 minutes. So you sign up for the newsletter and it'll come in an email within 15 to 30 minutes afterwards. It's like a third-party delivery system. They don't come right away. And I always say, come on, just have patience and wait for it. I do it all the time. I'll sign up for something, then I'll go in my inbox and update, what do we call that when you keep updating? Refresh. Where is it? So I do it too. I know. But you have to wait for it. It doesn't arrive within the second. I do that all the time. I'm always saying, why can't people wait? And then I do the exact same thing. We're just not used to waiting for anything anymore. Okay, how to teach my 2-year-old to stop kicking when changing diapers. You don't teach them, you teach yourself. My kids did struggle more with their father because he was more the pleaser parent. I was the leader. So they learned pretty quick. That diaper's going on. I don't care if they fight or not. That diaper may end up on their head. I don't care. It's getting put on. So I just never gave into it. And I just put my arm across their chest and held down their legs and got it on as best I could. And then they didn't fight me for very long. They learned. Mom's no fun whatsoever. Dad would offer them, oh, do you want a toy while I'm doing this? He was always trying to please them. That's the pleaser parent, right? He was always trying to please them. So, but yeah, I didn't. I said, I'm going to change your diaper and it's happening now. And I just changed it. I didn't use words. I just used action. So they just didn't fight me. They tried, but then they gave up. Yeah, this is a good point. Tanisha said, Allison, just know they won't be in your bed forever. LOL. Yeah, I want to also, it's a really good point. Not so much with co-sleeping and getting them out of your bed, but just generally. They're little for such a short period of time. It's going to fly by and then you're going to go, oh, and I didn't even enjoy it. Try and find the joy in some moments. And you might want to check out my boot camp course for toddlers. If you're really struggling with toddlers, it might help. Well, that's why I made it. It should help. And yeah, you want to find the joy in those years because they are gone like that. My granddaughter, she's almost 9 months now. Wow. Is that right? Wow. Almost 9 months now. Where did that go? Wow. Anyway, so she'll be walking soon. She's just getting mobile and it's just gone by so fast. So yeah, find the moments. Just try and enjoy. I know they're a pain sometimes. They're hitting you when they're toddlers especially, but try and find the joy because it's going to fly by. 3-year-old has trouble with independent play. What you can do, there's a few reasons why that might be. Maybe you spoiled them and they just don't know how to play on their own. Teach them how to play on their own. Get them started and also get really good at crafts and creative stuff. I didn't like my kids to have toys that started as something. I like them to have toys that started as nothing and they had to turn them into something like blocks and Play-Doh and all certain crafts like science projects, arts and crafts. And so they had to build something. So get it started and then say, okay, I'll be back. I'm just going to go do this now. So you make it interesting for them. And also don't have too many toys out at once. Do a toy rotation system so they're not bored. So you just rotate toys around every week or so, and they only have a few toys out at any given time. But yeah, do creative stuff. Look on YouTube for creative ideas with recyclable materials. You can do all sorts of stuff with toilet rolls and, so they're always coming up with new stuff. Guaranteed little kids are going to be more excited by the big box that their toys come in than the toys themselves. So yeah, get creative. Have a plan. Don't try and make it up yourself. God, we didn't have any of this when my kids were little, but there's so many creative ideas out there for little ones. And just look it up. Some people have amazing ideas how to entertain little ones. Oops. Yeah, just ignore the screaming. If they scream, I don't react to that. Just ignore it. If they scream, I might go like this and then walk away just to let them know. It's the last way you're going to get my attention. How do you handle 11-year-old using curse words? Put down no bad words on the behavior board. And every time he does or she does is a consequence. So yeah, consequences. Are you anti-yelling? Well, that's not a fair question. I'm not anti-yelling, but I've never yelled. I was never yelled at either. So yeah, most of my clients yell. That's why I'm not going to say I'm anti-yelling because very few of my clients don't yell. But yeah, you yell because it works in the moment and you don't know what else to do. I teach you what else to do. So yeah, yelling is just something you do because it works in the moment. It's short term. It'll backfire down the road though. Where can I get access to the behavior board? It's free and it's in the link above. And you sign up for the newsletter and then the behavior board should arrive in a separate email in about 15 minutes. Teach me what to do. You can look at the behavior board. That's the training wheels for all this stuff. But they have to be 3 and over. Otherwise, I have thousands of videos, okay, on all sorts of stuff. So you can look up videos. Okay. I might have to get going. I've not been very well today. I just didn't have a very good day. I'm a bit sick. Anyway, I got to get going. I can feel it. I'm not feeling great. Okay, so check out my podcast. Its release date is tomorrow, but it's already released. We wanted to make sure it was ready for tomorrow. So no one else knows. Like we haven't announced it in the newsletter or anything yet. So check out my website. The link above, that's my website. And you can see the podcast. I've got 3 episodes that are downloaded now, or you can download them. They're available. The first one is Earning Respect. What is leadership parenting? The second one is Navigating Consequences as a Parent. The third one is Approaching Toddler Tantrums. So check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, the podcasts, or you can find my mini toddler courses. So I'm thrown off because I did it out of order. Plus there's a siren going by. Just wait. I live downtown. Or you can see my 2 boot camp courses. I have one for toddlers, one for older kids, and you can look into coaching. The turnaround is pretty good now. It's usually about a week right now, which is really good. It was like 6 to 8 weeks over the summer, so it was really backed up, the wait list. But coaching, I should get back to you within a week now if you're interested in coaching. Okay, thanks so much for joining me. And the link is right above in my description or bio or wherever it is here on TikTok. And you can just go to BratBusters Parenting, and that's where you can find the podcast and everything. So thanks so much for joining me. I'm very excited about the podcast. My daughter's been working on that full-time, solid for 2 weeks now. And yeah, she's going to take a day off after it's done. So I hope she does anyway. She works too hard. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Bye now.